recording. We're going live. And we are up. Good morning. We have the coffee, the live music, and the yoga coming at you in just a couple of moments. Oh, look, your mom's on. Good morning.
I was just talking to her.
Where are you? Oh, speaking of, I should turn my phone off. Thank you for reminding me. Both the moms are on. Hi, Mom.
Hi, moms.
Good morning. I'm gonna wait about 5 minutes and then we'll start our practice this morning. Ooh.
Oh, I thought I didn't hear the alarm off.
Alarm.
That's my time to wake up alarm.
Time to get your butt in the yoga room.
Let's get done and brush my teeth in a minute.
As an alarm?
As just a reminder.
Oh. Wake up, Joel. Brush your teeth, Joel.
I was showing James the benefits last night of it. Setting appointments while
Good
cooking.
morning. I'm seeing some others popping on. Hello, hello. So for our practice this morning, if you're practicing, you could just be tuning in for some beautiful acoustic music this morning too. A blanket would be a great addition for your practice today. A pillow if you have one nearby. It's never a bad thing to have. But that is all we will need. Good morning. So this morning's practice will be focused on supporting your shoulders, your neck, some gentle side bending. Just a good kind of wake up and feel into the body and just notice what's going on. If you have a blanket, that would be great. Just something to sit on. A chair is also wonderful for this practice, so you can totally do probably just about the whole thing from your chair today. In fact, I would say you could do the whole thing in your chair today if you want to be in a chair. Alright, let's go ahead and get started this morning. Joel's got some energy. Ooh. Good morning everyone. My name is Paige Alia. This is Joel in the background bringing you live music this morning. And I'm the owner of Karmic Roots Yoga. It is an absolute honor to have you here in this space. I can see some folks are typing in and coming So just once again, for those just popping in, a blanket today to sit on if you have one handy. A pillow might be nice for the end. You can also do this practice sitting in a chair. So it's a great one if you are about to do some work from home this morning. So what we're going to do is just take a few moments to kind of settle in wherever you're sitting, finding a way to sit comfortably. So for some of us, crisscross is accessible and feels good. For others, it feels better to send the legs long or to bend the knees and plant the feet. If you're sitting in a chair today, have both feet planted on the floor and scoot yourself so that you're near the edge of your chair and your spine feels nice and long, and you're sitting up on the bones at the bottom of your pelvis. We call them sit bones in yoga. And just think about a long line all the way up through the top of your head. So kind of just having that visualization in mind. And know that during this, you can move. You don't have to keep your seat the exact same way the whole time. So feel free to switch it up. At some point, I'll cue to switch it up, but don't feel like you have to wait for me to cue to tell you to get comfortable. So let's find that comfort now. You can see me kind of wiggling around. Feel free to also wiggle around and just find a way to be, a way to settle in. We'll begin with a little bit of a meditation this morning. So once you find a spot to connect the bottom of your pelvis, think about not leaning forward over it and not leaning back, tucking the tail, but just kind of right up on top. You may even lean forward and then lean back. Just kind of feel where those spots are, okay? And then if we come right up on top of the sits bones, you can feel where they are, reaching up through the flesh of the backside, landing there. And then we're not sending our rib cage forward, but we're kind of gently drawing it in and down toward the hip bones here in this moment. And then find a place to settle the hands. Maybe it's resting on your knees or on your thighs. Or maybe it's stacking the left hand inside the right hand this morning. And letting the shoulders drop down away from the ears. Notice if you were holding a little tension. Are you holding them up? And then see if you can just let them settle down just a little more. Maybe give a little wiggle from side to side for a moment. And then take a breath. Breathe in through the nose, fill up the lungs. And then open your mouth and let all that air flow out. Go ahead and do that again. Inhale through the nose, fill up. Open mouth, let it go. One more time. Inhale, fill up, up, up. Pause this time at the top. Notice that tension. Open mouth, let it go. And allow the natural breath, the natural rhythm to come back. And if your sinuses are clear, breathe in and out through your nose. Or breathe however is comfortable in this moment. You don't need to change anything about your breath. Just be with what is already there. Notice if the head is stacked over the shoulders or if it's leaning forward slightly. Can you send it back a little bit? And then we're not lifting our chin up. And we're not tucking our chin toward the chest, but find that spot where you draw slightly back in the throat and the chin just tucks in just a little tiny bit. And it might feel a little strange at first, sitting up quite this tall. But see how it feels. And come back to the breath. Notice if when you did that little chin tuck, if your shoulders kind of popped up and let them settle back down. And now notice where you feel your breath today. As you inhale and exhale. And you feel breath in the low torso. Good morning. What about across the ribs? feel an expansion, an opening all the way around, and then a gentle coming in back toward the spine. Breathing in, filling up. Breathing out, letting it just gently sink back in. Our mindful movement practice today is going to be all about sensing and noticing and just feeling how these different movements are in your body today. So there's not a right or wrong way to experience the poses. And if something really feels uncomfortable for you, leave it out. And of course, if you have any doctor recommendations, any do's or don'ts from a physical therapist, listen to those first. Listen to your body, listen to your breath. The cueing I'm offering is simply a guide for you. And all you need to do is be here and breathe. Now, begin to visualize your breath as it comes in and travels all the way down, filling up your lungs. And then as it exits your lungs and leaves your body. Filling up, feel the flow. Letting go, the flow out. Flowing in and flowing out. A gentle rhythm. Imagine what your lungs look like as you breathe. And then see your heart nestled between the lungs. With steady rhythm, pumping blood. And now imagine a beautiful archway at the center of your heart. An open archway. And see a smaller version of yourself, a miniature version of you at that archway. And then go ahead and step through into your heart space, your heart center. And here begin to imagine a place where you can completely restore yourself. A place where you find ease and comfort and peace. A place where you feel free to be you exactly as you are. No masks, no boundaries, no walls, just you in this most beautiful healing space. And it might be someplace you have visited before, or you could completely make it up in your mind in this moment. A place of ease, of comfort, a place that feels secure. Maybe it's a grassy meadow, or maybe rolling hills, or a mountain with valleys and rivers. Maybe it's at a beach, your favorite place at a beach. Or maybe it's a favorite room in a favorite place. It's entirely up to you. And bring it into detail as much as you can imagine. Use your senses. See the sights, maybe colors, hear the sounds. Feel textures, smell the air. Let all of your senses be intensified in this space. Taking it in, breathing it in. This is your sanctuary. Let it fully bloom in this moment. A place of ease, of comfort, A place for you to come back to who you are, just as you are. A place you can revisit anytime, any place. Whether during this practice, when you feel yourself and your mind wandering away from the practice, or in the everyday, when you feel tense or tired or overwhelmed, you can come back home to your heart space, your place of peace, of ease and comfort. Visualize the heart, the lungs hugging the heart. Notice your breath, filling and emptying the lungs. Landing back in this space. Bring your arms down by your hips now, palms forward. And then on your next inhale, slowly reach the hands up toward the ceiling. You can have a gentle bend in the elbows, maybe looking up toward the hands. And then flick the palms. As you exhale, float the hands back down toward your sides. Inhales, reaching up again. Exhales, you'll come down by the hips. Follow your breath flow. It doesn't need to match my cues. Inhaling as you reach up. Exhaling as you release the arms back down by the hips. And being mindful in how this feels for you. What do you notice here? Do you notice any spots that in your mind feel a little tight or tense? Do these breaths feel a little bit longer than the natural rhythm? And then if you want, you can add a little more movement. So as you float the hands down, you can kind of curl in toward your lap. The hands float back by the hips. The forehead moves toward the lap. Inhales, rising up. Exhales, folding up into yourself. And the next time the hands reach up toward the sky, this time take a twist. Reach the right hand forward and the left hand back. Reach long through the hands and think of turning your collarbones open toward the side. As you inhale, sweep the arms back up. Exhale, left arm forward, right arm back. This time, reach through those hands. Inhales to center. Exhales, twisting again. Once more to each side. Then we'll all meet with the hands at the heart. Your thumbs can connect to the bone in your chest. Breathing in and breathing out. Noticing where you feel your breath. If you've been sitting in one position for a while, switch it up. So if you're cross-legged, maybe switch into the less natural way of sitting cross-legged, or extend the legs out long if that feels good, knees bent. Just make a little change. And release the hands down by the hips again, planting the right hand onto the floor, or if you're in a chair, onto the chair. The left hand will come up to that left shoulder, maybe fingers touch the shoulder, elbow out to the side, and then slowly bend toward the right. The right elbow can bend here. And here, notice if your ear drops toward the right shoulder, and slowly lift it away so that the top of your head reaches long away from the ear. Maybe reach the left hand up and over. Your gaze could be forward or down or even up toward that left hand. And breathe into the side of your body now. Feel that expansion there. Maybe in this moment, feel it a little bit more than you did before. Where do you notice the stretching? What sensations are there for you in this moment? Maybe you don't quite have the words for it. It can be a felt sense. Just see what's there. Then on your next inhale, we'll come back to center. Release that left hand down. Bring the right hand under the shoulder, kind of tiptoeing out on the fingertips, tipping toward the left this time. Again, the top of the head reaching long so the chin is level, it's not tucked toward the chest. And then reach that right arm long. Breathe here. Breathing into the right side of the body this time. Notice any stretching along that right side, the expansion and release of the breath. Let it be a little bit softer, a little bit smoother. And on your next inhale, coming back to center, and this time at your pace, tipping from side to side. Exhale as you tip. Inhale back to center. If you want to hold, feel free, or flow with the breath. Each time you exhale, tipping to one side or the other. You can have your eyes open or gently closed here. It's up to you. Eventually we'll meet back at center, releasing the hands onto the legs, maybe cupping the knees, and begin to circle the torso round and round here. And you can do this with your breath if you like. Inhale, leaning back, exhale, forward. You can keep your head in a neutral position or gently allow it to slowly rotate to a softer, smoother breath. At some point, reversing directions. Round and round we go. Small circles, medium circles, bigger circles. What draws you today? And slowly coming back to center, we're going to pause here. Pause here. If you've had your legs folded, send them long. Let's all send the legs long. And give them a little wiggle, bending one knee, letting the other go straight, and then reversing that, just back and forth. Maybe a little extra wiggle, like tap down the thighs. And then find stillness, sitting up nice and tall. Once again, bring the hands by the hips. If you're in a chair, the knees are bent here. And there can be a bend in the knees here. They don't need to be straightened to their full extent. Sit up nice and tall, and optional, draw the toes slightly towards your knees if your feet are planted on the floor. They're already done in this way. And then maybe think of leaning your heart forward slightly. So we're not rounding the spine. I'll turn sideways so you can see. So we're not collapsing it in this moment. We're just leaning the heart forward slightly. Breathing. Let the jaw be soft. And let the breath be smooth. If you're leaning, rising back up, bending the knees, and bringing the bottoms of the feet together, the knees open. So in a chair, it'll just be a slight open here. If you're on the floor, your feet can be far away from your sits bones, or you can draw them in a little bit closer. Try it out. See which serves you in this moment. There's a couple different actions happening here. You'll feel it in different places. I'm going to go somewhere in between that wider and more triangular shaped position there. And then bring the hands onto the legs. And then sit back, roll onto the tailbone, and curl inward towards yourself. Hang on to your legs here, arms are straight, tuck the chin toward the chest. And then reverse this, sitting up, leaning forward, maybe the pelvis tips forward slightly. Squeeze your shoulders back and lift your chin. So exhales curling in. Inhales rising up. As you rise up, maybe think of squeezing the shoulder blades back towards one another. As you curl inward, think of the shoulder blades sliding apart from one another. The arms can straighten here. A gentle flow, following your breath. And then this next time that you lift up, pause there, holding that lift. Keeping the heart forward. Slowly take the chin toward the chest. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades back, chin towards chest. And then inhales, lift it back up. Exhales, chin to chest. Inhales, lifting. See where you notice this movement. You have sensations of lengthening along the back of the neck or the front of the neck, depending on where your head is. The next time you tuck the chin toward the chest, lean back. Find that curled position on the back of the tailbone. Heart and stomach scoop back. And pause here. Hold on to the legs. Let the arms be straight here. And notice any sensations along the spine or shoulders or neck. How does the breath feel here? Can you allow it to be expansive and smooth? Now imagine the vertebra of your spine and gently rolling back up, articulating through one by one, stacking them so slowly. Let your head be the last thing to lift up. And then finding another way to sit, maybe crisscross again or sending the legs long. If that butterfly feels good, feel free to stay right there. Let the hands come to rest on your lap, palms down or up, your choice. Shoulders are down. Take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, tip the right ear toward the right shoulder. Breathing here. Softer. Smoother. Maybe a little bit longer than the natural rhythm. And you might add a little movement, taking the nose slightly toward that right armpit. And then back ear toward shoulder. So just a little rotation here, if it serves you, toward the armpit. And then back. Next time the nose is toward the armpits, pause there, we'll all meet there. And then gently with the chin, begin to take the chin toward the chest and draw a line all the way to the center of your chest. And then gently bring the head up to neutral. Good. Left ear toward that left shoulder now. And then slowly the rotations here. Nose toward the left armpit. Ear toward the shoulder. Back and forth. Next time the nose is toward the armpit, we'll all meet there. Then gently take the chin down to the center of the chest. And then slowly bring it back up to neutral. Good. Let's bring the hands to the heart. The thumbs can connect to the breastbone. And the elbows out to the sides in this moment. Now, press the palms together. And then notice if you can separate the base of the hand. Yeah? Good. Now, press. And then see if you can slowly lift the fingertips away from one another. Keep pressing. Press, 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 press. Good. And then bring the fingertips back to touch and seal the fingertips. And seal the first knuckles, the second, and the base knuckles. And then notice if the base of the hands is trying to separate. See if you can connect that too. Keeping the fingertips connected. And notice if you're breathing here and if there's tension anywhere else, probably up the arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards one another. Keep the pressure between the hands and breathe, breathe, breathe. Now very slowly reach those hands up. Keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing all the way through, all the way up. There can be a bend in the elbow here. Keep the pressure and come all the way back down toward the heart. Press, 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 reach, inhale. And slowly back down. Once more, you've got this. Reach, 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 squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. All the way back down. And then release. Let the palms float up and let the backs of the hands float all the way down to your lap. And just notice where you feel this in your body. You notice any sensations in your chest or your heart, along the shoulder blades, shoulders, any tingling down the arms, all the way to the fingertips. See what's there for you. Did you notice some heat in the body? And now notice your heartbeat. Breathing softly, smoothly, a little bit longer. And be reminded of your heart space, that space of ease and comfort. Bringing it to detail. And in this moment, checking in with yourself. How's your mood? What's coming up for you? And know that whatever is there is absolutely okay. It's a part of your very human experience. So be with what is there. Acknowledge it without diving in so deep. that it becomes overwhelming. And then see what would serve and support you. What would you like to lead your day with? Maybe it's patience or peace or something else. Allow that to be in your heart space, cultivating today. And we'll come back to this space now. And make your way onto your back. If you're in a chair, you can absolutely stay in a chair for the remainder of this practice. Otherwise, on your back, if you have a blanket and want it behind your head, feel free to bring that in. And once you get on your back, bend your knees and plant your feet on the mat. And take the feet a little bit wide. Maybe the toes spill off the edges. And then let your knees tip in toward one another. And your hands can come to rest by your sides or on your stomach or ribs. And just take a moment to settle in here. Maybe lift the shoulder blades up and then sink them down into the mat. Or turn the head gently side to side. Maybe sway the knees a little bit. Wiggle the hips. And then notice every point where your body is connected to the earth. Notice your feet. Notice the places on your feet where there's more or less weight, connection. Notice the hips and glutes. And then imagine your spine. Where does it reach down to the earth and where does it rise up away from the earth? And trace it up to your shoulder blades. See where they land. And then notice where the back of the head rests. And now open the arms to a T. Let the knees part. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, let both knees tip toward the right. When you inhale, the knees come back to center. When you exhale, tip your knees over to the left. And finding this rhythm with your breath, inhales to center, exhales tipping to one side or the other. And maybe as you tip, the movement grows a little bit. Maybe your opposite shoulder blade kind of lifts up, your chin might tuck toward your chest a little, or maybe as your knees go right, your gaze shifts left. When your knees go left, the gaze might shift right. Would it feel good to pause on one side or the other? Does it feel good to flow? Be curious. Try. See what's there. Meet back at center. Your arms can stay where they are. They can float down by your hips. And then heel toe the feet back so that they're on your mat about hips distance apart. If you're not sure what hips distance apart, think of not the outside of the hip, but think of the front of the hip. Or lift your feet up and down and let them kind of tap the floor here. and they'll land where they need to be, or lift and lower your hips if that feels good. And bring your attention to the low back here. You might even slide a hand under the low back and see what kind of space you notice here. Is there a little bit, not much at all, or a big arch here? Just kind of recognizing what's existing for you in this moment. And then if you had your hand tucked back there, bring it back out. And on your next exhale, press your low back against your mat. And then when you inhale, arch your low back up. It might be a little bit or a lot. Lift the low back up and keep the glutes grounded, kind of tipping towards your sit bones. Exhale, you'll glue the low back down again. Here, notice the hips hug towards the ribs. Inhales, reverse, tailbone down. Ribs lift up and expand. Follow your breath. Inhale as we rise. Exhale as we connect. And slowly make your way back to that neutral position. And then bring the right knee in towards your chest. You can use just the muscles of the legs here, or you can hold on to that right leg with your right hand or both hands. Hands can be on the front of the leg or the back of the leg. Gently begin rocking the leg side to side. This can be as much movement as you want. See if you can keep the left hip stable, so we're not rocking the whole body around here, but we're really working on just rocking that right side as much or little as what serves. You might notice a little clicking. And see where you're at today. If there's a lot of clicking and it's uncomfortable, like it feels like, I don't know, the sensation like bones are rubbing each other, tendons are sliding over one another, soften the movement a little bit. Maybe it would feel good to circle the leg. You could do that. Your hand could come onto your kneecap if you want to circle. And again, you pick the size of the circles. And maybe as you circle the leg, it would feel good to circle the ankle too. Maybe that's too many things at one time this morning. And you want to hold the ankle still. If you are circling, reverse directions of your circles. And notice where your breathing is during this. Invite it again to be a little softer, a little smoother. And let's come back to center. Now, keeping the knee bent, take the knee a little bit wider, as if you were going to take your knee to the outside of your rib cage. And then bring your hand onto the back of your right thigh. So your right hand comes to the back of the right thigh, along the outside of it. And keep the knee bent, and then slowly reach your right heel toward the ceiling. So it's a bent knee, the heel is up, and the knee is hugging toward the outside of the right rib cage. And then slowly straighten the legs, send the heel up to the sky. That right hand still on the back of the right leg. Exhale, bend the knee, hug the knee toward the outside of the rib cage, and watch your right heel. Keep your right heel reaching up toward the ceiling. Inhales, reaching up. Exhales, bending and hugging the knee toward the outside. Reach it up one more time, pausing here. Maybe both hands come onto the back of that right leg and point and flex the right foot. There can be a generous bend in that right knee. Sink your shoulder blades a little bit more. And then bend the right knee And now cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Let the right knee tip open toward the right. Your right hand can come onto your right leg and assist with this. You can add a little rocking here, side to side. You could open your arms out to a T and rock even further, keeping the shoulders glued. Maybe you take that right foot toward the left, letting the right hip lift right up off the floor, keeping shoulders glued to your mat so your heart stays pointing up toward the ceiling. You could go the other way, the right knee toward the right. You can stay right at center. Another option to explore here is to lift the left foot up off the floor, using that left leg to bring both legs a little bit more toward your torso, and then lowering it back down. Just kind of noticing how these sensations feel. Maybe some feel good, maybe some feel a little uncomfortable. It's okay to be a little uncomfortable in yoga. You might notice some pain. Check in with that pain. Is it pain that you're okay in? Or is it pain that's going to make it so you can't walk around the rest of the day? If it's the latter, don't do it. Give yourself permission to not do a pose. It's okay. It's just yoga. One more breath wherever you are. We'll meet back at center, landing both feet on the mat. Lift your hips up just an inch, and then right back down, and then send the legs long here. Send the legs long. And maybe stretch through the legs, point through the toes. Maybe your back wants to arch up here, and then soften. Maybe let the feet spill open. And notice your breath. The inhales, and the exhales. And we'll switch sides. Bend the knees, plant the feet, and hug that left knee in toward the chest. You can hold on to the leg or let the muscles do the work. You might rock it side to side, keeping the right side glued down and stable, so the whole body is not rocking. Just that right leg, or maybe circles. You can use just the left hand for your circles, no hands at all, or both. Breathing a little softer, a little smoother. Eventually reversing directions. And coming back to center, holding on to the back of that left leg with the left hand. The right hand can rest or can hold there too. Take the knee wide and toward the outside of the left rib cage. And then keeping the knee bent, reach the left heel upward. So we're keeping the knee bent. The knee is toward the outside of the left, and the heel's reaching upward. And we're breathing here too. We're breathing here. So what sensations you notice here? It might be different than the right side. Then we'll inhale, reach the heel up, straightening the leg. Exhale, bending it again, hugging it toward the outside of the left ribs. Inhale to reach. Exhale, hugging toward the outside of the ribs. Kitty cat saying hi this morning. Maybe you can hear her. And then the next time you reach the heel up, holding there, you can hold with both arms or just the left.
You can add some circling to the ankle if you like. Pointing and flexing. You may have already been circling the ankle. Last time we circled the ankle during that wind reliever, the rocking. You might have done it there. Exhales to bend that knee. Inhales, reaching up again. Reach one more time, and then this time when you bend the knee, take the left ankle across the right thigh. The left knee tips open to the left. The left hand can come onto the left leg. And here you can add rocking. You can pause in stillness too. Maybe open the arms to a T and rock a little bit more. Knee toward the earth and then foot toward the earth, keeping the heart facing the sky. Eventually back to center. Releasing the left foot to the mat. Press into both heels. Lift the hips up just an inch and back down. And then send the legs long. And this time send the arms toward the back of the room. Get long. Reach through those limbs. Stretch. And if a yawn wants to come, let it. And then gently curl up into a ball. Knees toward the chest, arms wrap around the fronts or backs of the legs. You might add a little rocking or circling. You could cross your ankles here. We're going to get ready for our final resting. A little music. Continued by Joel. So final resting. Finding a comfortable way to be. Maybe it's stretching out long. Maybe it's bringing in a pillow under your head or behind the knees. Maybe it's adding a blanket on top of you. Get cozy. And take this time for you. Take this time to be, to breathe, to invite a little stillness into your body. You might close the eyes or just let the gaze be a little softer. Coming home to your breath. And maybe returning to that inner sanctuary of your heart, that space of calm, of comfort, of security. And bring it into detail, as many details as you can imagine. Letting the natural breath return now. Breathing softer, smoother, and a little bit longer than the natural rhythm.
invite yourself back to this space, noticing the breath, and noticing all of the points of view that connect to the earth. From the back of your head all the way down to your feet. Land here. And then as you're ready, invite in some subtle movement. Feel the breath and breathe life in. Enjoy this transition from stillness to wakefulness. And maybe rest a moment or two longer on your back, or curl up on your side. And then gently come up to seated. And we'll meet there to close our practice this morning. That was beautiful. Thank you. Let's bring our hands to our hearts. And be reminded one more time of what it is you are inviting in to support you. Starting your day, or perhaps you're tuning in at another time. Maybe you're ending your day. And be reminded of that heart space, that sacred space for you. And know that it is always here, anytime, any place. May we continue to connect, knowing peace, wisdom, and serenity. May we fill our hearts with all those things that support our peace and our joy, our birthright. As always, it's an honor to be here with you. Thank you. Namaste. If you're tuning in live, thank you so much for making the time and space. If you're tuning in later on in the day or week or maybe months down the road, because I'm posting this not only here on Facebook, but I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel as well, so that you can have access to it anytime, any place. So, sending love and peace to all of you. Have beautiful days. Now I hit stop recording.
Stop recording.